As a brand new real estate agent, Adrian Quijano sold 15 homes. Then he doubled it to 30 the next year. Then he doubled it again to nearly 60, and he's pacing to double it again, making him the number one agent on the number one team in the market and a top 1% realtor in San Diego. How did he do it? By following the blueprint, by, in the words of Kyle Whissel, running the play that's called, by joining a team, plugging in, and running the play that's called. Why he became a real estate agent despite finding success as a sales professional in IT and cybersecurity. How and why he chose Whissel Realty Group as the place to plug in and start growing his business. Who he looked to for learning and growth early on. How he structures his day around IPAs or income producing activities. How scaling up his own business meant bringing other people around him in addition to all the leverage that the team provides. The three main sources of his continued learning and growth. All that and much more right now with the number one agent on the team, Adrian Quijano, as we conclude our journey inside Whissel Realty right now on Real Estate Team OS.
No matter where your business is today or where you want to take it, you'll get there faster and more profitably with an operating system. Welcome to Team OS, your guide to starting, growing, and optimizing a real estate team. Here's your host, Ethan Butte.
Adrian, I'm really excited to learn how you wound up in Whissel Realty Group and how you've achieved so much success over the past few years. So welcome to Real Estate Team OS.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Ethan.
Cool. I'm going to make you brag up some of your successes, by the way. I'm just going to let you know that now. But we're going to start. We're going to start where we always do, which is what's a must-have characteristic of a high-performing team?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In my opinion, I think accountability is one of them. Systems. And just having a blueprint for agents to follow that works, right? I think providing a lot of resources for the agents, the systems, the blueprints, and sometimes I think providing leads to new agents that are coming in to the team, that's really important to get their business up and running, especially for new agents and agents that are not producing. I think that could help them out. So that's, in my opinion, I think those are some of the qualities for a successful team.
Cool. I love that answer in part because I want to go into all four of the zones you covered there. I want to talk to you about some of the systems and processes that have been really helpful to you. I want to talk about accountability because you seem, just from my light background research, that you probably have a lot of self-accountability, but I'm sure the team environment helps with that a lot too. Talk a little bit about leads and kind of how your mix of opportunities has probably shifted maybe a little bit more to self-gen, but how important leads were in the beginning. So we're gonna get into all that, but I would love for you just to kind of give us an intro to like, what were you doing 2, 3, 4 years before becoming a real estate agent, and why did real estate make sense for you?
Yeah. So I did inside sales at a tech company here in San Diego. My job was to acquire new accounts and new clients to the company. I sold cybersecurity and technology, IT solutions, software as a service to businesses, and that's what I did. I was on the phones day in and day out, Monday to Friday, 8 hours a day, and then eventually I started my own department and created that department. I was hiring other ISAs, SDRs, BDR, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I was much more familiar with the SDR, BDR language than ISA, but ISA is functionally the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was B2B sales.
Yep.
And a lot of the skills and experience that I acquired doing that for a couple of years related to real estate, and it really paved the way for me going into real estate.
Cool. And what was it like? What was the shift about for you? I mean, cybersecurity isn't like a shrinking industry; it's growing. There's like, and I don't need to get into like the company or any of the dynamics in particular, but for you, like, what made you say to yourself, "I've acquired a great deal of sales skills, and I can apply them in a different place"? Why real estate to apply it? Because everyone needs good salespeople. Yeah,
that's a very interesting question, Ethan. To me personally, I wanted to be my own boss. I remember more than 10 years ago, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys probably read it. And it absolutely changed my mind and the way I wanted to the way I thought about things, right? So one day I wanted to be in real estate, but at that time I was still young and still I wasn't ready. Right. So eventually, a couple years later, I had the opportunity to get into real estate when COVID hit. We were locked down. We were working from home.
It's not a bad time to get started.
Exactly. I had plenty of time to work on my online courses and get my license. It was. I had some savings in the bank. I was pretty successful in cybersecurity. I had my own team. I was working for the vice president of sales, and then his boss was the CEO of the company. So I was pretty high up there in the corporate ladder. However, it was like that burning desire to help people, but also get into real estate. I was so interested in real estate investing, in what way to join, what way to be in real estate. Better way to do it by joining as a realtor, right? So in B2B sales, there's a lot of politics, and it wasn't very fulfilling to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, and that's one of the reasons why I got into real estate, not only to be my own boss, but to help people like me, veterans, active duty military, and just helping someone. Something about helping someone get their first house, their dream home, or their forever home is very fulfilling to me.
Cool. So you certainly had a lot of options on the table. You had the idea of doing it for a while. You built up the skills. You had some savings. You had the opportunity at the onset of COVID. And you could have joined any of a variety of organizations. So that's kind of what I'd love to hear from you on before. Like, what was your process of vetting different teams or brokerages? Did you have a preference for either of those models? How many companies did you look at, like informally, like checking out their websites and social? How many people did you actually like formally interview with? What was the process that led you into Whissel Realty Group?
First of all, you have to figure out like, what do you want? Like what your core values are, and what are you looking for in a team? And then for me, I was looking for a company that's moving forward, has a lot of technology, right? And it all came down to a couple brokerage firms like Keller Williams and EXP. So those are like the last two. And then I knew that I wanted to be in a team because the team environment, the resources, the systems that it's already been in place. And I wanted a team in EXP that provided leads to their new agents. And for being from Guam and I never grew up here, like I don't have a huge sphere here in San Diego, and I needed to get my business up and running and getting getting leads from the team. So I leveraged the team's resources, the training and the leads that they were providing, and then eventually my business took off.
Awesome. One quick question before we get into what it means to have your business take off, because I'm just really excited for you. What I hear from a lot of agents is splits.
Yeah.
What you just listed was all of the specific benefits that couldn't be provided unless the split allowed that to happen. So you looked at this is what the team is offering. I think so many people stop short of committing to join a team when it might be better for them from a lifestyle perspective, from a production perspective, from a support perspective. They'd be happier and more successful on a team, but they just get hung up on their face at the cost without really weighing the benefits. Did the cost come into mind at all? Or how do you advise an agent that is thinking that way about the team model in general?
Yeah, I think I think if you're thinking about the splits, that's already the wrong mentality. Right, because you can go on your own, be an independent agent, or create your own brokerage firm. But one thing that a lot of agents don't realize, there's a lot of costs in the business, right? Marketing costs, lead gen. You have to hire people, right? Employees.
A
or
good
even
tech
assistant.
stack that's fully integrated already.
100% software systems. You have to literally create the whole system, and that's going to cost a lot of money. And I think people don't realize that it's a lot of headache and a lot of money. So to me, having that split with the team was worth it. Right, because I didn't have to worry about a lot of things. Not only I didn't have to have like a big overhead, but also like I had that training, that resources, and I thought it was worth joining a team because of that.
Cool. Tell me about the past couple of years of production. I think you doubled back to back, which is a nice feat. But like, just
yeah.
run it down. Like, just talk about production a little bit, just for context for people. I'm not asking him to brag himself up.
Yeah, it always makes me feel uncomfortable when I talk about my numbers.
That's why I wanted to qualify it. But it's important
yeah.
because it's a testament to everything you just said.
Yeah. So first year, so I joined 2021 in June. In that last 6 months of the year of 2021, I did 15 transactions. In the following year, 2022, I did 30. And then last year, 2023, I did almost 60. So year after year, I doubled. And then this year, probably going to double that as well. So.
Nice. Good for
Yeah.
you. Now come back into what you needed. You used the language plug-in, which is language I like a lot. I've heard it from a lot of agents and team leaders, is like exactly what you just said. I could invent all this stuff myself and make some mistakes and figure it out, long, slow, expensive, or I could just plug in. So you plugged in. What was it about, you mentioned leads before, feel free to go into any detail there. But also like onboarding, I know there's a mentorship program. Just go into like, what do you think when you reflect back, what allowed you to be so productive you joined mid-year, like in that first year, I think a lot of people, especially in a market like this with the average price point that you all have, that production that you did in those 6 months would be very satisfying to a lot of people. What was it about the system, the structure, like what, just describe in detail what you plugged into that allowed you to just get running?
Yeah, so it's kind of like joining a team is when you said the word plug in, right? It's kind of like a light bulb, right? If you don't plug it in, the light doesn't turn on, right? So that's kind of like being part of a team. When you plug into to a team that has the systems, the blueprint and the resources and tools and the leads, like you're gonna light up, right? So for me, one of the things that I look for in an agent when I want to recruit them to Whissel Realty or EXP is the three things that I look for is positive attitude, strong work ethic, and coachability or student mentality, right? So coming into real estate, I wanted to learn. And being part of a team, yes, the splits are not as good as if you wanted to go on your own in EXP, you wanted to be an independent agent. However, it's the currency is the learning, right? You're gonna learn and grow, and the more you learn, the more you earn, right? That famous quote, and just to me, it was just delayed gratification, in my opinion, right? So yes, I'm gonna make less money in the beginning. However, I'm learning a lot, and the more I learn, the more my income is gonna grow, my business is gonna grow. So, training is one of them. You asked me like the specifics, like, okay, I needed training. So we had a 2-week boot camp of learning how to do the business, how to do an open house, how to use follow-up boss, your CRM. That's really important, putting all your clients in the CRM. How to write a contract, all that good stuff, all the basics that you need to learn as a new agent. And as long as you're showing up, right? For here, it's all about accountability. And you showing up, Kyle always says, like, how you show up to anything is how you show up to everything, right? And you showing up to the office, to the meetings, we have expectations. So if you meet those expectations, all the things that you need to do anyways to be a successful agent, you're gonna start getting leads from the team. Like as long as you're showing up, you're gonna get leads, and as long as you convert those leads, your business is gonna just take off. And it's funny because I think of real estate like when you're starting in real estate, you're brand new, or maybe you wanna. You've been in the industry for a long time and you haven't been producing and you want to change and you want to join a team. It's kind of like a plane taking off, right? It's going to require a lot of fuel for the plane to take off. Like I would say 75% of its fuel is being used and not take off. And then after you take off, it's just gliding, right? And it's not using a lot of fuel. It's kind of like that. The business is like that. So you have to be all in, right? There's a saying, when the student is ready, the teachers appear. So joining a team, you have to have that student mentality. You have to soak in and learn. You have to come in here not to transact, but to learn and just sharpen your skill. When you come in with that right mentality, I think everything else will come, because the more you grow, the more your business will grow.
Awesome. Okay. I feel like the two things you said there, well, among a variety of things you said there, but learning and accountability.
Yeah.
And I feel like some of that is structural. It's by design within the team. But I also feel like you're just spending a day and a half in this office, and seeing who's coming and going. And there's a live training in here, a role play yesterday. Like, I feel like some of it is just part of being part of the organization. Right. So some of it is by design, training. We do this every Tuesday. We do this every Thursday, whatever the case may be. We have this 2-week onboarding. We have a mentorship program. But some of it's informal. Has that been your experience, just being around other people, building relationships with the other team members, and kind of the camaraderie and collaboration that happens just in unstructured, informal conversations in addition to all of the formal training?
Yeah, I think there's a saying, success leaves clues, right? And you're the average of your 5 closest colleagues or friends, right? So when you're surrounded by top producers and you talk to them, you build those relationships, you start to act like them. You start to do the things that they're doing, right? As long as you're coachable and you're building relationship and surrounding yourself with other agents that are producing, you're going to start producing like them, at least 20% of their production. Like when I first started, I remember I looked up the top 4 in the company, right? I called them the core 4.
Okay.
And they were always consistently at the top. So I wanted to be at the top. So the best way to do that is be around them and ask them a lot of questions, learn from them. And that's one of the things that I really love about Whissel Realty, is because like we have a one of the core values that we have is come from contribution, and we love to share tips and tricks, and we share everything to each other. For me, like I share a lot of the things that I'm doing, right, in the team and vice versa. And that's how I was able to learn and grow in the business, is because by association. Yeah, definitely, to answer your question, being surrounded by like-minded people that are hungry, that are producing, that have a positive attitude about the market, real estate, you're going to start to, grow with them as well.
Cool. I'd love to hear how your mix of opportunities or leads has maybe shifted over the 3 years or so that you've been here. I assume in the beginning it was a lot of company-provided online leads, and I know that you all are very intentional about open houses and building real relationships in person. I assume that was probably a lot of your initial opportunity pool, but obviously you've helped a lot of families, and that probably has led to a lot of probably more referral business than repeat business, just because of how tight this time window is. But talk about how that's shifted for you over time, and maybe how company training has supported that.
In the beginning, I started in the team gen, right? Like team leads. That's how I was able to do business, is by getting the leads from the team. Heavy on the team leads. I did a lot of open house as well. I did about 2 to 3 open house every weekend. I was doing door knocking. I was circle dialing. I was calling it upon. It's a list of leads that we have in the company.
It's another nice team benefit.
Yeah, 100%, because we have that 30 plus thousand. I don't know how much leads that we have right now, because it's been a while since I called in the pond. So in the beginning, I relied on the team generated leads. And then eventually I started getting, referrals from my past clients. I was working the open house leads that I have, and eventually, like, my business took off with self-gen leads, like clients that are, reaching out to me, and my social media, online presence, and my sphere started to contact me. In the beginning, nobody wanted to work with me, my family members,
He's the
friends.
new guy.
Yeah, I mean, they know who I am, all my flaws. Don't get me wrong, like, I made a lot of mistakes when I first started. However, people were just watching me from afar. They're like, hey, congrats on your new journey. But I'll go to family events, and they'll tell me, yeah, you're doing something new again. Like, you're jumping into a new industry. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're quitting your job full time. I mean, there was, hey, they had good intentions, but they didn't realize that, like, I felt like, they didn't believe in me. Mm-hmm. Internally, like, I can feel it, right? And that's how it is, right? Family wants you to be, they want
you to be safe and protected.
Safe.
Yeah,
protected,
this is like,
right?
You're taking a risk here, going out on your own.
100%, because I can, because being in real estate it's a very hard industry, right? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of turnovers. And to answer your question, the shift is when probably my second year, that's when I started to get more referrals from my past clients. Because when you're helping a lot of people like that, and you do them right, you take care of them, you have their best interests, they're gonna remember that. So you take care of your clients, they're gonna take care of you. So mm-hmm. I get a lot of referrals from my past clients, my military members, because it's such a tight group. So eventually, a lot of my business right now is self-generated leads and just referral-based business.
Cool. I feel like you have a lot of natural bias of action toward income-producing activities. I feel like you're probably very self-aware of that. Mm-hmm. How do you structure your day?
Yeah, funny thing that you said that, income producing activity, I call them IPAs.
Okay.
IPAs, right? Yeah. Not the beer.
Yeah. Right.
It's IPAs.
Although San Diego is famous for those too.
Yeah, 100%. I used to drink a lot of beer, but not anymore.
Yeah,
especially
same.
when I was in the Marines. You like beer too?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
And then I was like, I'm done with that.
Yeah. No, me too. So IPAs. 80% of my activity are IPAs every single day. Till this day, even the amount of business that I'm doing right now, I always have that 80-20 rule. 80% of my activity are IPAs. So that's talking to clients, being in front of them, cold calling, following ups. Those are the activities that I'm doing right now. And then 20% are admin work. But again, like, my business is a little bit different from it was, or a lot more different. Now I have 4 assistants. Everything is being delegated right now. Admin work, my circle dialing, and I have a co-listing agent, and I have a showing agent. Also personal assistant. So all my listings, my job is to go out there and find the new clients, being in front of them, get the listing agreement signed, get their offer accepted for my buyers. Everything else has been delegated, managing the listings, going to the house and making sure the lockbox is working. If I can't be in 2 places at once for showings and I have multiple buyers that are looking, I have a showing agent can show a property, multiple properties in Murrieta, and then I could be here in San Diego showing properties. it's just leveraging my time, right, and my resources as well. So just scaling the business. I wouldn't be able to do 5 to 10 transaction a month if I didn't scale my business and bring in the right people in my business. I almost have like a small little mini Whissel Realty Group within Whissel Realty
Yeah,
Group.
team within a team.
Yeah, 100%. And Kyle allows me to do that.
Cool. And that's where I wanted to go as soon as you kind of open that door up is how much of what you have structured today, let's just call it your team, how much of that was intuitive to you? How much of that did you learn just by talking with other high-performing agents within the organization? And how much of it is directly supported or even provided by the team itself? Like, I would assume that maybe this occurred to you at some point or it was recommended to you either by a peer or by Kyle or someone else. Like, how did this structure that you have now come to be?
It's a combination of a lot of things. Kyle's advice, like he's my direct mentor now, right? And just duplicating what Kyle has done for Whissel Realty in a smaller scale. And then also like past experience that I have because I have that experience in cybersecurity and building a small little team there. In my tech background and marine background, right? So a combination of my experience with Kyle and what I see in Whissel Realty. Whissel Realty provides a lot of things, right? A lot of resources and tools and systems. The things that they don't provide, for someone like me, I had to almost create something because no one's doing it like me because like my business took off super fast. It took a lot of hard work, don't get me wrong.
I have no confusion about that.
Sacrifices and trials and tribulations, right? A lot of hours and no's and rejections, failing forward. But where my business is right now, I had to learn how to scale it with Kyle, with Whissel Realty, and with other agents outside of Whissel Realty that are top producers that's been in the business for a long time and that are consistently top producers from our other brokerage firm. Because I look at the list like, oh, wow, like I look up to them. Like, okay, when you get to the top, so 2022, I did the most transaction in my second year. And then last year, I was, most transaction, also most gross commission income and volume, right? And eventually I was like, okay, well, when I'm trying to take it to the next level, who do I go to? I go to Kyle and then other producing agents that are outside of Whissel Realty because there's no one above me, right? So I have to like look for other resources and tools. Okay, what are they doing differently? How can I get my business, because since I'm at the top, how can I get my business to the next level, right? Like these guys. And so learning from them and, okay, this person is doing it this way. This other agent is doing it this way. She has an assistant. She got 2 assistants. She got 3. Okay, what are those assistants doing? What type of systems they've created in their business? So to answer your question, it's a combination of a lot of things. Kyle, Whissel Realty, and other agents that are outside of my sphere.
Awesome. I love this active pursuit of how other people are doing it. Like you have this natural curiosity toward, okay, I know I can do more. How can I do that? Let me go tell me if this is about how it went. I have these people that are immediately available to me and I'm learning from them all the time and we're actively in conversation. So some of these seeds or ideas are being planted, but I'm also actively going out to other top producers to learn how they're doing it. And you're not saying, oh, okay, that's how she does it. That's how I'm going to do it. You're taking all this input and making it your own. Like there's no single playbook for success. You can literally do this however you want.
Yeah, you can as long as you have that student mentality, right? Like for me, my biggest fear was hitting a ceiling. But part of it too is like being at the top is lonely and it's and sometimes when you're at the top and you hit that milestone, you lose a lot of that motivation. In fact, motivation is great, but for me, I prioritize consistency. right, in my business. I didn't want to be at the top and then eventually, go back to second or third or fourth and fifth, because losing motivation. So I had to find another type of motivation, another person to chase almost, and that was my
the
type
greats have sometimes
Yeah.
even manufactured someone to chase because it's so necessary.
Yeah, I had to. I'm like, okay, well, I'm here now. Okay, who am I supposed to chase now? I have to find that inspiration again, right? So when you're doing the amount of volume and transaction in this business here in San Diego, you run into the same people over and over again. And I built those relationships over time with top producers, right? And I look up to them. I get inspired by them. So in the beginning, I got inspired by the core fours, right? I call them the core fours, the top four.
Yeah.
And I always like, okay, well, I gotta climb myself. I'm super competitive, but I also, I have so much respect for them, and I'm so grateful for those people that helped me when I first started. It's not the destination that I'm really excited about. It's the journey and the person that I become in the process. That's what I'm really excited about, is that learning and that how can I be better every single day. And that's something that I'm very, very, very consciously aware of. Like, okay, well, my level of income in the business will never surpass my level of personal development. So I always want to ask a lot of questions and learn from other people, or listen to podcasts or read books and how to become better.
Awesome. Spoken like a lifelong learner, and you actually just answered my final question for you, which is, what does it look like for you when you're investing time in resting, relaxing, and recharging? Or what does it look like for you when you're investing time in learning, growing, and developing?
Till this day, I still work anywhere between 8 to 12 hours a day. I take not like a day off. I take like hours off or half a day off. And I have the freedom, like, I'm my own, boss. And I have the freedom, if I wanted to take 1 day off or 2 weeks off, one week off, I can. But I choose to do what I do every single day, is to like help other people with their real estate journey. And that's one of the things that I'm very passionate about. I love what I do. And it sounds so cliche, right? Like, I love what I do. But I truly mean that. I really do love what I do. And because of that, I don't feel like I'm working. Like, part of my journey in real estate is like helping other people, but also it helps me to be better as a person, as a better son, as a better brother. I see real estate as a personal development journey, because the more you conquer those fears inside, those demons inside, the more you're able to help other people with their fears, with their doubts, with their curiosity. Like, you can help them with their journey in real estate. And that's what I'm passionate about, is building long-term wealth. And to answer your question, I go to church every Sunday. Like, I'm a believer, and that's one of the things that that's important to me. It's my faith. It's believing in Him, God, Jesus Christ, and just things are going to work out, just trust in Him. And that's how I run my business, is Christian based, principles. And sometimes it doesn't work out, but I keep moving forward, because I believe that it's going to work out. And if I keep doing my business and running my business that way, everything else would fall into place, because I have faith and I have belief that it's going to work out. Even though there's so many problems and issues and I'm not getting the results that I want, but because I'm faithful, right? We have a saying we have our motto in Marines, in the Marine Corps, Semper Fidelis, always faithful. And that's something that's embodied, and that's something that I do in my free time to refresh, I work out. I spend time with family, friends. I spend time with my dogs, my partner, and just have those relationships. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, you gave me a lot there. It's a wonderful place to call this a conversation. I wish you continued success in the end of this year and in the start of 2025. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I'm so glad you found a great place here at Whissel, and you've achieved so much in this time. And just speaking to your mindset and your habits and your approach, it makes sense why some of the success has been generated by you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Team OS. Get quick insights all the time by checking out Real Estate Team OS on Instagram and on TikTok.